Let's talk about mixing colours with coloured pencils, specifically how to mix colours together to make a realistic drawing. And I want to show you this by showing how I approached drawing this watermelon. This contains a few reasonably complicated colours that actually, specifically the kind of reddy pinky area, I don't have a colour hugely like that within my set. So I can show you how I mix this colour together. Now, before we get started mixing the colours together, let's just take a minute to talk specifically about how colours are mixed with coloured pencils. So they are mixed with a process called layering. This is where you build up a series of light layers rather than just pressing really hard with the pencil. So I build light layers of colour one on top of another, gradually building more and more colour up, always thinking about the main colour that's missing at any point until eventually it matches the colour that I can see within my reference photo. So I'll show you as we work through this watermelon what I mean with that. Now, before we get started with the watermelon, it's important to note a very important material that I use in every single one of my drawings and is very heavily used for mixing colours together. This is a set of colour swatches. So for every set of pencils that I own, I have drawn out a set of swatches. This is where I take every colour in my set and I go from as light as I can to as dark as I can, and then I label the colour. And what that does is show me what each of these colours actually look like on the same paper that I'm going to be drawing on. So I'm not relying on guessing the colour through the barrel of the pencil or from the lead. Already, just from having these swatches, it's taken a lot of the guesswork out of selecting colours. And we're going to use these swatches to constantly be thinking about the closest match to the colour that we need to mix. Now, before we go through the drawing, if you do want to go through this with me in a lot more detail, I do have the full tutorial available on my website. In fact, I have not only this tutorial, but loads of other drawings covering a whole host of different subject matters. For every single one of these tutorials, I include really in-depth instructions, which has all been sorted into chapters. So they're all sorted into bite-sized sections, so you can approach the drawing one section at a time. It makes the whole process seem a lot less complicated. I also include all of the real-time footage so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Plus, I have details of all of the exact materials I'm doing, including all of the specific colours. And I include the sketch outlines, both a light sketch outline if you want to print that directly onto your drawing paper, and a heavy sketch outline in case you want to trace. And I always include the reference photo. I have a mixture of full courses, which will show you specifically how to tackle particular topics. And I have a mixture of tutorials, both beginner-friendly, simple tutorials to get started with, and some much more complicated and detailed tutorials that have a real wow factor. Check out the link in the description. So what I want to do with this watermelon is approach it to start with by working from the lighter colours gradually towards the darker colours. I don't need to make every colour perfect. I just want to roughly get the colours marked in and mark in the shapes and where everything needs to go. So to begin with, it isn't about trying to make these colours a perfect match to the reference photo. It's about starting off by working from the lighter colours towards the darker colours, getting my bearings on what's going where, and generally trying to pick the rough match to what I can see in the reference. So I'm starting off here by filling in a very light grey. This is, I would say, the lightest colour I can see on the pink section and the white section of the watermelon. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the key to this is layering, and I want to be pressing really nice and lightly. So I'm starting off here with this grey, and you'll see that I'm holding the pencil further back than you might expect. So I'm not holding it really close to the tip. I'm holding it about halfway down the pencil, And what that does is literally stops me from being able to press too hard. You'll get an idea in this drawing on exactly how many layers of pencil I'm going to be building up. And we do need to build a lot of layers to mix together the colors that I can see within that reference. So once I've built up the lightest color I can see within the pink and white section of the watermelon, I now want to do exactly the same for the green. So I'm just blocking in a really light green in the whole of the skin area. And then from here, I can gradually work from these lightest colors towards the darker colors. So we're just roughly marking everything in. So let's build up a quite earthy pink. This is the coral pencil. I would say this is the next lightest color on the pink section. I don't think it's a perfect match to the watermelon, but I do think it is the closest match to the next lightest color. We're really just trying to do the closest colors and get it roughly right. I can't stress enough how much I don't expect this to be perfect. So I can block in this pink over the whole of the pink section, and then I want to look for the next darkest color I can see within the watermelon area. So let's now move on to a pretty bright red, and I want to use this to be mapping in the lights and darks. I just want to be marking in the kind of patchiness that I can see on the watermelon. So you can see how many light spots and dark spots. The whole watermelon flesh isn't consistently one color. It has some lighter patches and some darker patches, and I just want to start getting my bearings on where all of these areas need to be. And I can use my sketch lines where I've marked in the seeds here to get a bit of an idea on where all of these patches need to go. But I can't stress enough that it isn't about mixing together a perfect color at this point. So let's look for the next darkest color in the green section now. And again, I don't need to get a perfect match for the green. I just want to pick the closest color that I think I have to the next darkest color. So I'm using a kind of earthy light green here to mark in anywhere that is this color or darker. So I want to avoid all of those light patches and work around them, adding this in anywhere that needs to be darker. And we're going to keep working through, as I say, from the lighter colors towards the darker colors. So you can see I've added a slightly darker green. I can now move on to some of the darkest colors and be marking in these seeds, and generally be marking in the shadows and the darker areas on the watermelon. So at this point, we have very, very rough colors marked in. It is not a perfect match at all for what's on the watermelon, but we need to have something down so that we can start mixing colors from here. So what I want to do is to compare my drawing to my reference photo and think about the most obvious color that's missing at any point. It doesn't need to be perfect. I just like to look at what I have and the reference photo and think about the most obvious. So the main thing that's standing out to me. So right now, the main thing that's standing out to me is that around all of these seeds particularly, it has a much darker brown or a much darker color than I have right now. In fact, I don't really have any of these darker patches marked in. I don't know that this is the perfect color for these sections, but it is, I would say, the closest match that I have. And it is just a constant process of adding that closest match. Once I'm happy that I've got those darker areas surrounding the seeds, I then once again want to compare my drawing to my reference photo and my color swatches and think about the most obvious color that's missing from here. So now some areas on the watermelon are a much brighter and more vibrant, kind of richer red than what I have right now. So I can add some of this more vibrant red in the patches where I can see some of this color to generally brighten those areas up. So you can see how this is different to if I were just drawing a swatch, where it is a case that I only need to add this to those lighter patches if I was just drawing a swatch of the general color. So I wouldn't want to put this all over like I would if I was generally trying to swatch the color of a watermelon, I guess. So from here, I can now see that it's not looking bright or vibrant enough. Now that we've got those richer reds in, some of the more mid-tone areas are not looking bright enough. I don't feel like I have a perfect red for these areas. I feel like all of the sections on this watermelon look a lot more orange than the reds that I have in my set. So I will pick the closest red, which is this very vibrant red, and use this to brighten up any areas that I think should look brighter in that section of the watermelon. And then from here, I think that that shows that the whole watermelon is looking too light and the whole thing needs making darker and more mid-tone. Some areas need to stay very light, but there are very few very light patches on the watermelon itself. And then that shows that the seeds are looking too muted in comparison to the rest of the watermelon. So I can really build upon them. And for every color that I add in, I think it makes the next color that's missing more obvious. And you'll see that I keep going back to these same colors. So I'm going back to the red, adding this into any area that I think needs to be more vibrant and brightened up. And then I think the whole watermelon kind of looks too red and it needs to be a bit more kind of orangey peachy. So I can add a very light layer of orange over the whole of the watermelon. And hopefully you get an idea of how many colors I need to build up on a drawing to start approaching the very complicated colors that are within a reference. Now, what I like to do is build up one area, really focus on trying to get that color to be a closer match. Let's start focusing on the skin of the watermelon. And I'm going about this in exactly the same way, constantly thinking about the most obvious color that's missing, until for every section of the drawing, I think it's all looking reasonably close. It looks a reasonably good match to the colors I'm trying to mix. And then I can start looking at the drawing as a whole, start looking at any other area that I think needs brightening up. So I'm back to focusing on the flesh of the watermelon, and generally one more time thinking about the most obvious color that's missing. And I will keep doing this until eventually I have a drawing that I feel matches the reference photo and looks nice and realistic. And you can see how it's gradually built up over time by going back to those same colors over and over again, adding a small amount every time. I think I can see a hint more red that needs adding, for example. And I would say it's a process that builds up. I frequently see people get really focused on trying to mix the perfect color and finding the general process of mixing colors very tricky and very stressful. But I can't stress enough how the actual color that you create doesn't matter as much as you might expect. In fact, there is one aspect of drawing that I would say is even more important than mixing colors together. And if you would like to know what that is, check out this video here. Happy drawing, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.